Hey, what's
We're
up?
all good.
Yeah. Hey guys, how we doing? Um, we have a skeleton crew tonight. One of our players has had a lot of technical difficulties, as you guys may have known, with their internet, and another one of our players is sadly going to be stepping out of our game due to lots of life. And we try to hold to the standard that if life gets in the way of D&D, there's never any hard feelings because life is always more important than D&D. So yeah, but we're still here. We're still streaming. We're all living our lives, doing our best out here. Welcome to Twisted Perceptions. Today will be a one shot. It might turn into a two shot depending on how crazy it gets because this is going to be kind of a nutso butso game. We'll find out. um, yeah. So it's been how long since I've been on stream with you guys? 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Something like
Something
that.
like that.
It's been long enough.
While.
Yeah, it's been long enough. But funny enough, I've had lots of time to prepare for the next few sessions and whatnot. So I'm excited for them to cry.
That doesn't surprise me.
Today's game is called the High Council. Um, if you guys do not listen to the D&D podcast Unprepared Casters, you should. And I got my inspiration for this one shot because of one of their arcs. Um, this is a very high role play style game where a king has died and the High Council has been called to come and try and diplomatically decide on the next king. If the this era of the king is over with, or if they're going to even vote in this king's child to continue on this specific dynasty or era, if you want to call it. So, how about we go around the table and introduce our characters and kind of our role?
Sure.
Jack or David?
Ladies first,
Why?
Okay,
Why
David.
me?
because I was trying to be nice, but I'll do it. All right. So you have, as we all know, we do have a massive map. Within part of this map, there is a island nation, the majestic city of, and I know
Leonardson.
for a fact that I'm going to butcher. What is it?
Leonardson.
Leonardson. Yes, as I would have butchered it anyway. I am actually one of the High Barons. My character is Maruzar. Just known as Maruzar. No surname, no nothing. He's just a High Baron to the actual city and the nation, and he has come over to help however he may.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Jack?
Okay, now I'll go. Today, my character, y'all are gonna have to bear with me. This is my first time playing a dude on stream. I'm gonna have to dude voice this shit.
Yeah, let's get
Well,
that
you
deep
have a
voice.
penis.
That's good, but hopefully it's just as bad as men doing female voices.
But today I'll be playing a character I've had in my back pocket for a very long time that I truly adore.
That scares me.
His name is Dante Ikerhelm. And everything about this man speaks of eloquence and poise and of diplomacy. He looks like you would look at him and your first thought isn't that he's going to he's not inclined towards violence. He is not in any way someone who's going to solve things with his hands or with weapons. There's a sense of him that is just there's some wisdom there. There's things he wants to know. Very attractive man with olive skin, very well built. He takes care of himself. He's got some tattoos in a few places, curly brown hair, the chisel jaw. Everything about him is just fantastic. He is the monarch of the hallowed city of Hyrie. Thank you very much. And he took up that position not by bloodline, but after the overthrow of a previously very very selfish and not very good king, and has himself been working to rebuild their city and province since, for the good of the people.
Okay. Cool.
And with him comes
Hello. My name is Brissa Godblood. I am a Minotaur sorcerer of the Divine Soul. I follow my god very closely, and I speak on behalf of my leader here, Dante, as I am his right hand.
Okay. Cool. Well, I usually like to try and start our stream off with a bunch of laughs, but I think this one is it's gonna get intense very quickly, sadly. So, let's do it. Dante, you and your right hand are rolling up in a carriage through the Kingdom City streets, and you come to the front of this giant castle that reaches almost to what once was the canopy of the City of Lamps. And then the gate opens. Standing at the foot of the stairs, about 15 feet in front of you, is a woman. A very, what seems to be frail woman. And even though she is blindfolded and has long silver hair, you can tell that she is looking you up and down. She turns around and walks into the castle. What are you doing?
Do I recognize this woman?
How long have you been the monarch?
Probably only
Patriarch.
last, patriarch, whatever, about a decade.
Probably about a decade. You've heard mention of this woman. You've heard mention of this woman's visage. If you remember correctly, she goes by the name of Volance.
Call myself. I love anyway, so we come in the carriage, so he's going to get out, and he ends up holding the door for Broussard as well. Rather than waiting for Broussard to get up and hold it for him, he instead does to gesture himself.
Dante, you do know you don't have to do that for me.
And yet I do it anyway because I want to.
As you wish. You'll
As you
step
guys
out.
start to walk up, as you guys step out and start to walk up, you see that there are lots of guards around. Obviously, there are barons and royalty kind of falling into the kingdom city and into the capital, into the castle because of what's happened. And you walk into these large doors, and you see Volance standing there with a golden staff in hand. And she looks at you and says, "Dante, right?"
He kind of does the very respectful bow.
As does Broussard.
Lady Volance.
Well, how was your travels?
As well as could be. The journey is long, and, well, there are difficulties that come with traveling by carriage, but I'll not complain. It's been some time since I have been given a chance to travel and see the land, and take the time to enjoy it.
Indeed. I wonder what it's like out there. I don't much leave the castle walls these days, but I'm happy you made it safely. The guards will take you to your quarters. You will be called once it's time to have any meeting.
Of course, and I extend my condolences for the situation.
Thank you. He did teach me everything that I know today and bred me for this very moment. Hopefully we can all come to a conclusion that I might be the best suited for the next position.
me breaking character. Ignore me. Ah! It's weird playing a character who's anyway. He nods, gives another
See,
bow.
I pay attention to your guys' character backgrounds.
You don't understand. I've been playing her elsewhere of late, an AU version of her, and there's so much. But anyways, nah.
Yeah.
He gives another bow. As you wish. I hope the negotiations go well and may the best suited take the place.
Indeed. I will probably try and find you later to have a more extensive conversation.
I look forward to it, my lady.
Obviously, your friend is more than welcome as well.
Oh, he should be. At times, I'm fairly sure the man is even more persuasive than myself. Just saying something.
I don't know about that.
He gets the words. And he kind of like does this gesture and like he knows that like she's got the blindfold on, but he knows she gets a sense of what he's doing and cracks the joke anyway.
She chuckles just a little bit and says, "Not often do I get the chance to laugh. Thank you."
My pleasure as always. And I assume we're let off.
Yeah. And Matajan, you come up next. Again, just a carriage. And then as that happens for you, you actually get the door open for you, Matajan. And there is a guard, and he says, "Sorry to make you travel by carriage, sir. It's more of a show for the people than it is any type of practicality. We could have just, teleported you in, but we want the people to know why you are here."
And Mordazar actually just looks at him for a moment and actually takes his time to get out. And as he steps off, he goes, "The show is always there to be seen for others. To be used as a focal point for one is a little bit ridiculous, but I understand the reason for it this time. So I'll let it slide."
Thank you. Well,
He looks around.
the next in line is inside to meet you and greet you, and then you can be off to your quarters.
"Thank you." And he starts walking up, and he puts his hands, he rechecks his gauntlets, because he's always in a set of armor. He never really takes it off or anything. But it's very sleek, and it just looks more like ornate than actual practical. But there's a gleam to it as well as he rechecks everything. And he's walking, but he's not really paying much attention to others. But they could feel that he is constantly watching them, checking their mannerisms, checking how they're standing. And occasionally there'll be like a soft click of his tongue as he walks through.
Okay. As you walk in, you see Volant standing before you as well. And she says, "Judging everyone as always, Motazar."
And he actually gives her a deep bow. "Of course, Lady Bullets. How else do I actually keep everybody on their toes? They never know when somebody's going to come up and decide that what they've done isn't good enough."
I was taught that way as well. And I have a feeling that one day something like that might actually happen. And I pray that it's not you that chooses to do the testing. You're quite powerful.
I don't do the testing. I do the execution. And you've known that.
Yeah, I indeed have. You're the one who found my brother, if I'm not misunderstanding.
Yes. And that was not a day I really wish to recall fondly.
Indeed. He's a man of brutality. He's changed since, I promise.
Good, I hope so. Because if I have to meet him again, well, he may not be able to come out this time.
You look at her face, and even below, behind the blindfold, you can tell that she just winked at you.
He
And
just
one of
grew. He's just like in the beginning he was all serious and everything, but as this banter comes through, he's just a very slight grin is just coming out, forming off this corner of his mouth. He just go
okay,
and he just walked right up to her shoulder and he's like, "So will you be leading me this day, or will there be another one?"
there'll be a guard that will take you to your quarters, but don't worry, we will have our conversations. Today is just a day of rest and travel, so let's do that. How's that sound?
Of course.
All right. Well, you have a safe travel up to your room. There should be no traps laid around. We discontinued everything. And you see a guard appear behind her with a deep bow towards you, waiting, ready for you to leave, to take you to where you need to go.
He turns and just slightly nods his head to the guard, but when hearing the fact that the traps were disabled, he just clicks his tongue. He's like, "Ah, and here I thought you actually wanted me to have a little bit more of a showmanship for this entire debacle." Well,
Not this
thank you.
time. Not this time. We have lots of things to do. And I think the following days, maybe even week, will be enough of a trap for all of us.
Hmm, we shall see. We shall see. And then he actually bows again to her and starts following the guard.
All right, cool. Um, so now that you guys are headed towards your rooms and stuff like that, let's talk about daily actions because this is actually going to take place over a period of days slash maybe even weeks. So you guys, each of you, even our right hand, will get 3 daily actions. They can take multiple hours. You can choose to say, "Hey, I want to go talk with this person," or like, "Is there someone who might know this specific thing?" And depending on your character's motives, you can go talk, for example, to the librarian to dig up some dirt on Volans for example, and say to try and like defame her so that she doesn't have to so that she doesn't become the monarch this time round. Or
She
you
cursed.
can
She can't be king, queen, whatever.
He said, "Fuck."
or you can go and you can speak with another player character, or you can ask, "Hey, is there an NPC that might have this set of knowledge or this thing?" And we can do it that way. Does that make sense? Does that all make sense? Any
Yeah,
questions for me?
we got no
Would
one.
casting
Good.
a spell that takes
Sure.
instantaneous, does that count as one of my actions?
No, you can cast a spell. That's fair.
So before we get into the actual like days of stuff, I'd like to have an RP moment with Dante in the quarters.
Okay, sure. So, since you're going to have a back and forth moment with Dante in your quarters, I would like for both of you to roll me a perception check before you start to talk.
Is it for something to do with sight or is it sound or smell based?
Just all around. Actually, instead, let's do investigation.
But I have a +1 to oh no.
That was an 11.
That's
An 11.
a 3?
That's a 3. Okay, neither one of you notice anything out of the ordinary with
Oh.
where you are.
Joy. I don't like that.
We should be safe to talk here now. Would you like me to divine with my god and see what information I can get about the outcome?
We should take advantage of the time that we have to learn as much as we can to find what will be best for all of us.
And he will instantaneously cast this because apparently it's a quick one. That is a divination.
Okay.
4th level spell, your magic, and an offering put your magic and an offering put you in contact with a god or god's servants. You ask a single question concerning a specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days. The game master offers a truthful reply. The reply might be a short phrase, a cryptic rhyme, or an omen. And the spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that might change the outcome, such as the casting of additional spells or the loss or gain of a companion.
Gotcha.
And he will reach
What is
out.
your question?
Dante, what should I ask specifically?
We'll all play fair.
One more time? I'm hard of
We'll
hearing, you
all-
see.
Come on.
How you in character tell somebody that they need to speak up?
We'll all play fair.
And he will focus on the spell and speaking with the god. We'll all play fair.
Your god takes a few seconds. And you hear back. All is fair in love and war.
Of course. My response was that all is fair in love and war.
Which could
Take
mean
that as you
either
will.
War, which could mean either war is on the horizon, or there is something to do with love we have not accounted for. What kind of love I do not know.
It's truthful as far as I know. But there is no asking for clarity. These things are often difficult to understand. We might not even be on the right track. I was hoping for something a little more clear, but it's the best I've got at the moment. Let's see. I do have another spell that I'd like to try before we go into this, though. Give me a few minutes. And he will pull out a few sticks. A few of them look like bones. And they'll look fairly expensive. And he sets them up in a symbol that you would recognize at this point, but to others they may not. And he takes a minute to cast this spell, speaking the words and moving his hands in the specific design. To cast augury.
Okay. What does augury do?
Receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next... Oh, it's 30 minutes.
I mean, you can choose to take an action within the next 30 minutes. Just have to make sure you know what you guys are going to do.
Well, we will save this for when we're about to go into the room, the courtroom,
Sure.
whatever.
You'll have,
Pulls out the
you'll have
sticks.
mi-
He looks at the sticks. Decides it
He's
is
like-
not the time for the
it is like,
sticks.
nah.
Nah, we didn't.
Sometimes I forget.
Just so you guys know, you guys would have already known this. There will be many meetings. There will not just be one meeting.
Yeah.
Because since all of you are in one place, some of these will even be meetings that have nothing to do with the monarchy, like new laws, things of that nature. So just know that there are many, many meetings that will, not many, many meetings, but a few meetings that will be coming your guys' way.
Yeah.
What love affair is going to begin?
That
I
was
just-
the best. That was the best way I could be cryptic. It wasn't like me just being dumb. That was like a very specific answer
It's
for
just
a specific
accurate to
round.
the situation.
Yeah. No, no, no. That actually works. That definitely manifests in this.
So yeah, we put that off for later. Forget these things. The first one was within the 7 days, but this other spell is something that happens in the next 30 minutes. And I don't think we're going to be doing much other than wasting time here in this room until we start tomorrow, I believe. So, I will keep that spell for later. How do you feel about all of this?
Feels like a lot. But when has any of this work ever been light or simple?
Almost never.
We can only hope that the one who is meant to take control will do so.
Do you trust in Volans?
I don't know her well enough to say yes or no. But I don't have anything yet to make me distrust her.
All right.
All right. Is that it?
I'm going to go take a nap. It was a very, very long ride.
that will actually be one of your actions if you go to sleep.
Take a nap. Dante will instead probably just take today to walk around and to get a sense
Sure.
of the palace.
Just
Probably
the,
get
just
to
the whole
know
day?
servants. He's going to walk around, get to know the layout. He's going to want to get familiar with the faces of servants and other people in this place. Not really asking any specific information of yet, just getting to know them and becoming familiar with them, and then familiar
Sure.
with him.
Roll me 2d20s, please.
Oh,
Quick
lovely.
question. Is this the
Yes,
same
go ahead.
place we invaded in another one shot?
No.
That was an 8, and the other one was a nat 20.
Okay, cool. For the 8, you stumble around and you find one of the judgment rooms, is what it's known as. You see that there are 5 seats, and in the center stands a wooden encased circle where someone might stand while they go through their judgment that is carried out by 5 people. You don't know who those 5 people are. You've never sat in this room as as an adjudicator or as someone being judged. And with your nat 20, what is one place in this castle you think would be useful to you that you would need to have found and know where it is prior to being there? It could be the court. It could be like your meeting room to make sure there's no foul play in there. It could be the library. It could be the quarters of the court magician. It could be anything. What do you think?
Okay. And the nat 20.
Yep, that's that's
Yeah.
what it is. The nat 20.
Okay.
You choose which one you want it to be.
I don't know.
I can choose for you. I'll make
Please.
sure it's useful. Okay, sure. You find the library.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
It is a 3-story room lined with books, and in the center you find a man. And as you look closer and closer, you tell that this man is an ASMR.
I see. Take a look around appreciatively because knowledge is very important when it comes to being diplomatic. So a library is a very important place to be. Probably spends a lot of time in his zone. He looks around appreciatively and then walks up to the gentleman, just kind of clears his throat real quick, get the attention. You wouldn't happen to be the librarian here, would you?
I guess you could call me that. I spent a lot of time here anyway. And who might you be?
A visitor from out of town. And
From
I
out of town. He scans your face and your body, and then he looks at you and he says, "Dante, correct?"
that would be me. I suppose it's not particularly easy to hide who I am.
Hmm. Yes. I was told. I'm sorry. I hate talking to people. I was told that you would be here. Nice to meet you. My name is Talenthros.
Uh he smiles, shakes the hand. I'll
He
be out of
shakes
your
your, he shakes your hand, and just a little too firmly, he like pulls your hand over to the top of his, and he like runs his finger across the top of your hand. He says, "You've got nice bone structure."
This man said, I like hands.
hands. Just I like yeah, I like a hands G. I was just waiting, just like I like a hands G. Quack. Um. Yeah. Sorry, I'm so put off by that. Just the, just the creepy
Hey,
ass
he
ASMR
he
guy in the library who takes
he
your hand and goes like this.
he's newly out of his assassin world.
Yeah, I figure.
Oh my god.
What do you do, Dante?
Just, just
Um,
don't look at Twitch chat. Just don't look at Twitch chat. Or do you?
he's gonna be surprised by the gesture no matter what, because that's
Mm.
not like a
not a normal
normal
thing.
thing.
No,
That's
all.
it's not normal. So he's gonna look a little surprised, but he won't pull his hand away. Like he'll just kind of, all right, that's weird. Cool. We're gonna compartmentalize that information for later.
He looks up to you and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's an old habit. Um, you're here for the major council meeting, correct? The high council meeting."
That I am. Unfortunately, traveling for leisure is not something I get to do often.
Fair. I think I understand that. I used to travel for work a lot. I'm still being coached in how to speak to people. I didn't do that much. Um,
No
well,
worries.
I'm
You're
happy.
doing well as you are.
I'm happy your travels were safe. I am here to help. Volans has told me that if you need anything, you or the others, that you could rely on me. I know the castle well.
Good to know. I suppose my first question would be, could you point me to the section on the history of this kingdom?
Indeed,
Like-
indeed. If you go up to the third floor, the entire third floor is the history of our kingdom.
Perfect. I would like to be familiar with the past as we navigate going into the future.
Understood. Well, I will leave you to it then.
Thank you. I'm just kind of wave and walk away and just kind of like
Do you
a little bit like
do you choose to look back at him again, or are you just gonna?
He's just gonna walk
beelining
away.
it? Yeah, you're just beelining it. Cool, gotcha.
Well, he's not like walking like just kind of like yes, this man does not socialize much, doesn't like socializing. I'm not going to bother him anymore. Like I'm not going to invade his space.
Okay, cool. So as you get up to the third floor, now give me a perception check that involves hearing.
$23.
Wow. Okay. I forgot you guys are on. You guys are high level as fuck. Um, um, um,
This is your fault.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
about to say you told us to.
no, I did this on purpose. So
Mhm.
um, with that 23, you hear footsteps and you hear down, and you recognize Volans' voice to Talanthros. Talanthros, have you met anyone yet? And he says, "Uh, yes, the one that people describe as handsome. He's up on the third story, looking at the history of the kingdom, the castle." Um, Volans just chuckles and says, "Good. I'm glad he's educating himself." And Volans walks out.
I feel like that was like a slight dig.
Getting educated.
A little bit.
And he's just
Alright.
then going to like wander the aisles. He'll pick up a book here and there on specific, just like a topic that catches his eye. Anything he finds that he thinks
Okay. Give me an
could probably
investigation check.
23.
23. Wow. Okay, cool. You find three very specific books. You find a book on the historicity and the reliance of their system of monarchy and how they vote in monarchs. You find a book of common law, and you also find a book that's called the Adjudicator's History. This is a book specifically written by one of the top judges of this world, and it's a book that describes all of the cases that he's ever gone through and all of the decisions he's made. Those are the three books you find. You find a book on the way monarchs are chosen and why they think it's good. You found a book on common law, just regular laws inside of the world, inside of that particular land, and you find a book called The Adjudicator's History. So now, anytime you may roll a history check regarding something along those lines, you will get advantage.
Nice.
Yep. Right.
I guess that's my
Maruzar?
day.
Maruzar?
So as he hits the door with the guard, he looks to the guard and goes, "Well, I'm sure you have things that you should be doing, so off you go. I don't need you any further. Thank you, though." And then he'll walk into his room, and he stands right by the door as it closes, waits a minute, and then he does two things quickly back to back.
Sure.
Number one is casting the spell, and I will actually give you guys the Mordenkainen's Faithful Hound.
Hmm.
I conjure a phantom watchdog in an unoccupied space. Uh, Lasts about 8 hours, non-concentration. It just takes one action. And the hound is invisible to all creatures except you and can't be harmed. If a small or larger creature comes within 30 feet of it without first speaking the password, the hound starts to bark loudly. It could also see invisible creatures and can see into the ethereal plane. It also ignores illusions.
Okay.
Secondly, is the fact that he uses enhance ability, Fox's Cunning.
Okay.
So now he actually gets advantage on intelligence checks.
Sure.
Because the first thing he's doing is checking around the entire room to make sure there's nothing in there odd, out of place that shouldn't be there.
Sure. Give me an investigation check.
Well, screw me, that's a 9.
Oh yeah. Nothing looks out of the ordinary for you.
Okay. He's actually going to leave the hound in the room, close enough to the actual door to keep an eye out in case of anything.
Yeah.
And he's going to leave. First place he's going to go to would be the courtyard,
Mm-hmm.
because as everybody has been coming through by carriage, they're not going to want to stay indoors for a while. So they're probably going to start meandering out to the courtyard start taking in actual fresh air because horses smell. So he's gonna
Mhm.
kind of like walk through the courtyard, have conversations, listen to people around,
Mhm.
and this he has a amulet medallion around his neck
Mhm.
that he at the moment is actually using to cast detect thoughts through, just to kind of like pick along everybody's thought process, see what they're thinking of the events that are going through. But he's never really focusing on one person at the moment. It's just
Okay.
surface thoughts, and that's it.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Um. Hmm. Hmm. What time is it? Okay, I because if I say this, I'm going to want to take a break after this to let it sink in just a little bit. um, you look around. I'll give you three people. So you look around and you find a dwarven man, and he said, and you hear in his just thoughts. He's really thinking about food. He's hungry. It's dinner time. He's ready. He's like, why do I have to stand here and fucking guard this place when I could be eating a whole lamb right now? And then you look over and you find a relatively young looking elf. You know, you just never know what the fuck how old elves are. Um, and you hear him thinking is like, I really hope that she gets it. She's been working for it for quite some time now. And then you also find a young, probably early 20s Goliath man, and he says, this year might be the year we bring him in. And that's where we'll take our break.
Ah,
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
it.
don't worry.
I like the intrigue.
I still have a hell of a lot planned for my go around. So don't worry. This will be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just so you know, again, it was a relatively young Goliath man,
Hmm.
probably mid 20s, and he said this year may be the year we bring him in.
He looks
That's
at the
it.
girl. That's for
So
now.
we'll
I'm just
see
gonna
what
leave it. Real when we get
Shaq, what'd
back.
you say?
Let's deal with it.
I was like, oh, we're gonna see you guys in a few, but then do we want to do 10-15 minute break today?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See y'all soon.
We'll do that. Yeah, see him soon. Yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. There are a lot of teasers for things like our regular game as well as our upcoming podcast. So, yeah, we'll see you guys soon. we have
Welcome back.
returned. Well, hello. Hi.
Jello.
Hello. So, Shaq, do your thing.
Oh yeah, I do that. Um, Hi. If you haven't heard from me before, nice to meet you. I'm Shaq, and I'm here to tell you to go do our social media shenanigans. And hello again to the people who are very familiar with my face, and my voice, though my hair has recently changed. Anyways, cool. We have social media, and if you want to be up to date with Twisted Perceptions and things that we do, and exciting things to come, do the social media follows because you're going to be the first to know about things. I'll direct your attention. We do have here on our Twitch page, there is linked a link tree that will give you all the links to all the things you need to get a hold of. Primarily Discord. Join us on Discord. You'll hop into the Player Hater server, which is where we are connected with, where you can connect with us, as well as a few other amazing tables that stream with this group, as well as just a bunch of D&D nerds, and they also run events and do a lot of other cool things. So if you want to get to know us and another big group of amazing D&D nerds, go ahead and hop into the Discord. We are in progress of revamping another thing into roleplay for those of you D&D roleplay nerds. We have a TikTok. Go ahead and follow us on TikTok that we will be getting back to very soon. We also have an Instagram. And if you want to catch up on previous episodes that you haven't been able to see with us live, YouTube. We have them all on YouTube. So
Follow us
catch
on
up with
YouTube.
us there. Follow us
If you
on
want
YouTube
us to
for
make-
that.
If you want us to make money, YouTube is the place to follow us at.
Go ahead and do that. And we have the podcast coming. We'll keep you guys updated again. Following us on social media is going to be the best way for you guys to hear about that podcast. You will hear some of the voices from this table, but you will also be hearing voices from other people in Player Hater that are going to be joining us for that, and that's really exciting. And last of all, but definitely not least, we do have a Patreon. All of the stuff we would get, the money made to this goes just towards helping us as a bigger community to gain better equipment and to stream better. None of us do this for a living. We've all got day jobs, and we just want to have fun and play D&D, and we want to do it well. So anything from that just goes to helping us have better equipment and stream better. But our Patreon offers you a few different things. You get special Discord role rewards. We're working on that, and you will get access to stat blocks and character sheets and maps and secret things from behind the scenes. We would also like to do a talkback show with you guys, as well as you can suggest NPCs that will show up in stream, or you would even have the chance to possibly show up in stream one day as a guest as one of these NPCs. So, all of that can be found on our link tree. Follow our socials if you want to keep up with Twisted Perceptions.
Yay!
And this message has been brought to you by the Snack Shack Corporation.
Gee, thanks, Sean.
Snack Shack LLC.
Snack Shack. SSLLC? Souls?
Oh,
Slow.
man.
Yeah, there's a lot of homebrew and a lot of work that goes into our games, our one shots, and our campaign proper. So if you're interested in seeing just kind of like how I, do homebrew, whether it is for weapons, sometimes I make overpowered weapons, sometimes we have to nerf them.
I wonder which weapon that could be.
Or even just kind of like plot hooks that I use and how I came up with said plot hooks. Please, you can follow us on socials. We'll probably start to, let some of the secrets out on like things like TikTok and maybe Instagram as time goes on, trying to figure out how we can use that. I'm terrible at social media. That's why I gave it to Shaq. And yeah, so let's hop back into it. David, your character, Maruzar, had just read a young half-orc's mind, and he said maybe we can get him in this.
No, sir. It was a young Goliath.
I'm sorry.
It
yeah,
was a young Goliath.
It was a Goliath. That is very important for the story, actually. It was a Goliath.
And hearing that, very simple, very calmly, Madazar is going to actually put his hands behind his back. And he's going to walk towards this Goliath.
Yes.
And he's a soldier, I take it, or
Yes.
He walks up. He goes, "Fine day we're having, huh?"
Indeed. And who are you?
Ah, I guess that you must be new. Because I haven't seen you from any of the visits I've taken here before.
New is a relative term. I am the smith for the army.
Ah, so I guess that's the reason why I've never actually seen you before on the castle grounds. I am Baron Malazar.
Malazar
Happy to,
Baron.
yes.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir.
Well, what brings you into the castle? Are you also here for the meetings or something else?
There are a few meetings that I will be a part of, yes. Some of the meetings that I will be taking part in are some of the lawmaking meetings that have to deal with weapons.
Hmm. And pray tell, what's going on with that?
Things like types of weapons and ways that things should be made so that we can standardize throughout the kingdom so that they are replicable by other smiths around. So, just in case I may run out of supply, others can have a replicable state at which they can make weapons for the kingdom as well.
Mm. But no Damascus blades, I take it, because that process does require a skillful hand.
Only for commanders and above, as of right now. That is subject to change, though.
Interesting. Interesting. I think I may actually have to partake in a couple of those meetings to see whether or not it's beneficial to also help out where I can.
Yes, for sure. He reaches behind himself and he grabs out a roll of paper and he hands it to you. It's like, this is where my shop is located if you ever decide to partake. Yes?
He takes it. He kind of like uses it to just like tap it against his forehead as he bow, like as if it was like he's kind of like tipping his hat. It's like, "Thank you. I will definitely keep this in mind."
Cool. You
But
look at this. You look at the
is there?
seal and wax seal of
Uh huh.
paper, and you see that there are two snakes intertwined on that wax seal.
Interesting symbol.
Yes, it's the symbol of the group of mercenaries that I work for. Well, that I used to work for.
And which group was this?
We didn't have a name.
Huh. If there's one thing that I do recommend, that would be, even if they didn't have a name prior, if you still want to use the actual symbol affiliated with them, you should make a name. So that way, regardless of where they stand, they know that they still have somebody out there working with them.
Wise words from a wise man, I see.
I've just been around long enough. So I know what could be, what should be, and what would be. So that is just a recommendation I have for you.
Indeed. Well, I must go. My wife is waiting.
Of course. But I was actually going to ask if you were to assist me with your dealings, is there anything I could assist you with those as well? Or maybe something else entirely?
He looks at you, um, and he just says, "I could never ask anything of you."
I'm offering. So therefore you're not asking. But
Do you
I
know?
understand.
Do you know the nature of the decision of the monarch?
I am actually here for that. And currently it's up in the air. But in due time, a decision will be made.
There is a commoner. He should be considered.
Hmm. Give me his name, and let me meet with him. And we shall decide from there. I gave you
He
my
hands.
word. on that?
He hands you a slip of paper, and it just has the first name, Paul.
Just Paul. Vote Paul in the office.
And where would I meet this young Paul?
He is home right now. I believe he is in the drawing for the next monarch, so no worry there.
I will keep an eye out, and when I see him, I will speak to him, and I will do what I can.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I'll see you around.
Hmm.
And do give my greetings to the lovely missus.
Indeed.
And then he would walk inside, and he would actually take about 5 steps in before looking to the nearest butler guard to point him towards the library.
The what?
The library.
Oh, okay. Cool. Once you find the guard, he leads you to the library, and you find the same thing. You walk in, and this time, as you scan, you look up, and you can see Dante up at the top, sitting at a table, reading through books, and a stack of two sitting next to him. But and then you also see the ASMR man sitting in the center with a stack of books next to him as well.
He's not going to be cordial. He's just going to walk straight up. Ah, I see. Those are the books. Aren't you going to wait for the day where they're just going to come at you and just start cutting you apart because of how much you just turn the pages?
You're talking to Dante or the ASMR?
No, the ASMR.
Oh, the ASMR. He looks up, and his eyes widen as he jumps to the table and in a defensive stance. What are you doing here?
Motazar's hands were actually behind his back, so that way there was no sense of any kind of violence being brought upon him. And he just takes his right hand and just starts flipping through the pages of the book, kind of like ignoring the question for a minute.
It's a book on how alternative power sources.
Are you trying once again to deal with a machine that you know you shouldn't be dealing with, or are you trying to create another ritual?
I am wanting to not rely on magic as much as we have. It's inefficient.
Hmm. So that's why you actually came out of your cave this time. I understand now. And now he actually looks at him from the corner of his eye, but there's like a gleam to it. It's like enough to like put him on edge, but it's still contained. It's like, so as to answer your question, I came because of the monarch dead. You know that the council is supposed to be here for that, to decide who's next in line.
Indeed, you are. And my sister failed to mention to me that you would be here.
Well, messages between siblings is not my due diligence, so it's not my reason to actually look into why your sister didn't tell you I'd be here.
Well, if you are not here to hunt me, I have no reason to be angry or defensive. Your fellow council member is up on the third floor.
And what is my fellow council member looking to do?
He's
Because I
just
know
learning.
you.
He's just learning about the history of the kingdom. And what do you mean you know me? I love to read and learn as much as I can.
And you also have your ear to the walls, to the floors, and you know a lot more than you let on. And the entire time as he's talking to him, he's using detect thoughts.
Oh, you're not getting anything from him.
He's just like, oh, so you finally learned how to block it off. Very well. And he actually applauds. He's like, you have learned so much since we last met.
Um, what is your motive here? Are you trying to goad me into fighting you?
No, if I was going to goad you into fighting me, I would just tell you, I'm here to take your head.
Uh, yes, straightforward, right. Um, well, I am done as an assassin. I have no need of that. Dante, you're probably hearing this entire conversation. Dante?
He's just shaking his head like this man has no tact at
Gotcha.
all. He is staying out of it. It is not his business.
Yeah, Talonthros looks at you. He says, I am no longer an assassin. I have no need of information anymore than you do, really. Well, you are a baron, so you might have quite a large need of information. Is that correct?
It never hurts to have more information because the more you know, the better you are.
Um, keep your ears to the trees, then. I hear there is a great spirit that knows much.
Ah.
Riley, yeah.
Hi, how are you? I'm the tree spirit.
We'll definitely keep that in mind.
Nice to meet you, don't you know?
He said some whiskussy.
Um, that is definitely good to know, but you're all right. So I am here for information. Uh,
What is it
I'm
you wish to know? I've read most of this library.
yes, but it's not the information within the lab within these hallowed halls that I need. I would like a list of all the candidates,
A
and I
list
know you have it.
of all the candidates now. That is exciting. Um, can I give it to you tomorrow?
That is the reason why I came, because I did not expect you to magically have this list in hand. I
Magic
would like.
isn't my
I know that was being
forte.
rhetorical.
Okay, okay. Well, yes. He reaches behind the desk and he hands you an arrow. And he says, "If you keep this on you, I'll be able to find you wherever you are tomorrow. Is that okay?"
Of course. And he actually puts it into his belt loop. So, I do hope you sleep well at night, because we all know what happens. And then with that, he just kind of like looks up towards Dante again
How do you
for a
say your
split
character's
second.
name again?
Narazar.
Maruzar. Maruzar.
I call you Maddie. Um,
It'll be
um,
Maru. It'll be Maru because there's no D in it.
Maru, whatever. Um, you look up and he doesn't look back at you, but you hear in your head as he uses telepathy.
It won't go through.
Why? What item did you took the mind shielding ring, didn't you?
Yes, he does.
Motherfucker.
All he moment that he
You
tries,
feel it. You feel that
he
he's
definitely
trying to
feels
talk to
it,
you. It's
and
just
he
like a
just
knock
smirks.
knock.
He just smirks up, and he actually lets it open just to actually hear this.
Have you ever became anywhere near in charge of anyone without them wanting to put you 6 feet under? I have absolutely no idea. And all the while, he's still reading the book.
Um, Talonthros speaks into both of your minds. Is like, I have wanted to kill him once or twice. My sister stopped me though.
That tracks.
Yes, and well, I do
Tracks
have
so
many
hard.
tricks up my sleeve to get me out of those situations, but I know very well what to do. to lead those below me.
And then Talonthros says out loud, he says, "You are quite an effective leader. Hell, you're even strong as a fighter yourself. Are you hoping to take over the kingdom?"
There is no answer of any kind. Marzar just leaves.
I will take that as a yes. Madazar as king. Would I like that? No, 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 no. We'd all hate that. Okay.
Dante's just there shaking his head.
All right. Any other actions? You got one more.
Um. Yes, there will actually be one more thing he's going to do.
Sure.
He would look to. Ooh, I didn't actually expect that conversation to go the way it was because now I have way too many things stuck in my head now. Um, Simply put, he would actually go to the captain of the guards
Okay.
and he would have a better understanding of how long, like, who else are they waiting for?
Okay, cool. So as you're doing that, you look at the guard and he says, "Maduzar, sir, Maduzar. We are waiting on just a few other people. Um, Kotcha Sherunan is one of the people from the south in where the city in the crags sits, and then Temlin, uh, the legendary warrior king."
Hmm. Let me know when Timlin arrives. I have actually meant to meet him, but he's a very hard man to pin down.
Indeed, he is. I will notify you as soon as he arrives.
Thank you. And with that, he would end up going up to his room.
Okay, cool. Riley, what's your character's name?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Brissar.
Brissar, you have 2 actions left for the day.
And
Would you like
guess,
to just?
well,
would
he,
you just
he
like to sleep
napped
the
for the
day away?
first.
Okay.
But the next 2, he's gonna get up, stretch very slowly. Even though he's only 30 years old, Minotaur don't live very old. So 30 is actually quite an old age for his kin. He stretches, yawns, and stands up with minimal creaking in his bones and joints, but there's still some pops and clicks. And he just starts wondering.
Okay. Roll me 2d20s.
Yep. He's just like, I'll find a place that's important eventually.
Yeah. Happen upon it.
That's a 5 and a 15.
Okay. With the 5, you find the kitchen. Very important.
Oh, definitely.
It definitely is.
Hey, if you ever want to know anything, you always ask the cook or the maids.
That is very true.
And then with a 15, you actually find the room of the scribes. There are 3 people in there currently, and they are, furiously writing things down because they are the scribes. Which one would you like to write first?
Well, the kitchen.
Kitchen.
I found it first.
Okay. All right, cool. Fine. What are you doing with the kitchen? You see the chef standing there. The chef is a short, dwarven woman.
And he's wandered into the kitchen and he's just kind of looking over everything slowly, meticulously, checking to see that it's clean.
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Down here.
I see you.
What are you doing in my kitchen?
I was wandering the palace. I am here to help my liege choose new laws and choose the new ruler. So I was just wondering, learning.
Are you hungry?
I find myself a bit peckish. What do you have?
What do you want?
I prefer salads.
You prefer salads.
I'm part
How old
cow.
are you? How old are you?
I'm 30.
Decrepit. And she just goes and finds you a giant bowl salad and hands it to you.
I love this old lady.
I think she's
That's
my favorite character
perfect.
now. I think she's my favorite.
Might I ask you some questions?
Yes. I cannot refuse any level of royalties questions.
I'm
What
just a
can I
nobleman.
have?
I very much appreciate this. I want to make that clear. What have you heard about the people who are next in line?
What have I heard?
From
about the people?
experience or hearsay, perhaps?
Well, I've known Volance for a long time. Fed her many times. I've been Volance's personal chef before I became the head chef of the castle. Volance is quite compassionate for her background. But there are others. Temlin, if you've never met Temlin, he is quite persuasive. And Kotcha is quite quiet, doesn't speak much, but very intelligent.
All good people, I assume.
Temlin scares me.
That's not good. You can't have a leader
Then-
that scares you.
Well, they don't call him the warrior king for nothing, do they?
I suppose. But if you scare your own citizens, it would be problematic, would it not?
It could indeed be problematic. Wait until you meet him. You'll see why he scares me. It's not his personality.
He's just big.
He's just scary.
I've met quite a few of those people in my time. Family of minotaurs and all. Have to deal with quite a few of those people. Anything bad you've heard?
Bad.
Like bad news or per se.
Give me a
Some-
persuasion check. See if she airs out any dirt she knows about anyone.
Ooh.
That's a 24.
Jesus Christ.
Or just wait until you make
It's-
me roll
it-
persuasion.
Oh,
gonna hate me.
you're gonna fucking hate her.
Okay. Let me roll against that. That's a 3.
You can't beat the old man Minotaur, all right? He's just too persuasive.
Volence, though she's trained for this day her entire life, her knowledge of running a kingdom is purely theoretical. She has no practical knowledge, and that will do her a disservice. Temlin is unafraid of war. So unafraid that he is willing to go fight head first in that war. And as a king, there is a time to fight, and there is a time to be diplomatic. Kotcha is very afraid of sharing her thoughts. And a monarch who is afraid of sharing their thoughts, can they really be called a monarch at that point?
You must make decisions.
You must be decisive.
Exactly.
I have served under 4 monarchs, and each one more decisive than the last. If we're talking about decisiveness among the current candidates, Temlin would win that battle. But if we're talking about preparedness, Volence is ready more than any other. But if we're talking about potential, Kotcha takes the cake.
Very many things to balance. Luckily, I'm not one of the people who will actually be making said decision, but I am to help my liege. So,
Whom is your liege?
Dante Eigelhelm.
Dante. I've served Dante once or twice. He was but a young buck, though. How is he?
He's doing well, doing very, very well.
Is he eating enough?
As far as I can tell, yes.
Indeed. Well, it's almost time for the banquet. Get out of my kitchen.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for all the information you shared and this quite large bowl of salad. And he will step away and eat his salad as he makes his way up to the scribes area.
Nightbot is having a fit at people using caps in the chat again.
What you saying?
The Nightbot is having a fit at people using all caps in chat again.
He'll be excited in lowercase.
We really need to take that off.
I wasn't looking at the chat. Are people doing craziness in the chat right now?
No, it was people
Oh.
excited who know Dante as a character. Because
Because
I've used him before and I enjoy him.
How many people are watching right now?
7. Hi, all 7 of you.
One of them is me, but yeah.
All right. Okay, so you make your way to the room of the scribes. What do you do?
Yes. I will look across the room. You said there was 3 people?
There were 3 people in the room. They are all humans.
I want to make sure I understand the purpose of the room. What are the scribes for?
Okay, so there's one there that is you can. Are you trying to look at what they're doing? Some of them may try and stop you from looking.
Just his knowledge of like what the scribes actually do is what I'm asking.
Okay.
Not necessarily what they're doing currently.
Scribes write down things like speeches. Sometimes they record laws. Sometimes they record verdicts. And so they could be doing anything of that nature.
Okay. He will.
None of these people are specifically doing anything like maps or anything like that. That is a cartographer, and he's not in that room.
He's going to go up to whoever looks the most experienced, not necessarily oldest, because that doesn't mean the most experienced, but the person who
Yeah.
seems the most understanding and knowledgeable.
Okay. You actually walk up to probably the youngest person in the room, a young human man.
Hello, young gentleman. And he'll set his finished bowl on the table, somewhere it's not on top of papers or books.
Respectful, we like it. He says, "Hello, whom are you?"
I am Brissar Godblood. I wanted to gather some information. Kind of wandering the castle at the moment, but I'm glad I stumbled upon you. Might I get a list over the last couple of years of laws put in place via approval of the councils and possibly mostly including the people who are up for candidates currently?
Current candidates.
Yes, I want to know what laws they've put in place.
Well, there's an approval process for that. Are you willing to wait a few hours?
Of course. I
Understood.
do you need to speak with my liege Dante Agahelm, or can I get that information? I am his right hand.
There, normally we would go through the king, but obviously that is not possible. So as of right now, we will go through the acting head, if that is okay.
That's perfectly fine.
All right. You then walk. You see him just kind of run out of the room very quickly, and then you see actually him walk back in pretty quickly with the head mage, and he looks at you.
I smile,
says,
give a bow.
"Hello.
Hello.
You need some documents."
Oh, I wanted to get information, the laws put in place via the current candidates over the past couple of years, I want to know what laws these people have put in place, and I'm sure Dante, my liege, I am his right hand, would like to know some of this information.
Yes, you are Brassar, correct?
Brisar Godblood, yes.
Okay. I can give you a list of past candidates and a list of laws passed until then, but we will not be giving you the names of the current candidates for kinghood. And he kind of gets like a cheeky grin on his face. If you can find that out on your own, I will not be angry at you for the current candidates, at least.
But of course, I know some already. Of course, there's Volans. That's quite public. But, I'm sure there's a few others.
There very well are. Good luck. And he hands you two pieces of paper. One is like a small stack, which is the laws that were recently passed, and another one is a small stack that is past candidates. But that goes back probably about 100 years, just because you don't switch monarchs very often.
Yeah. So he takes all of the paperwork, bundles it, grabs his bowl from his salad, and will head back down to the kitchen to drop off that bowl before going back to the room.
Okay, cool. So when you drop off the bowl, the dwarven woman is there just making some food and cooking up as much as she can, flicking the wrist, whisking it up. And you make it back to your room, and as you read through, give me an investigation check. It's not written in a weird language, but just kind of the information you glean from everything.
Okay, so that's a language he understands, correct?
Yeah, it's in a language you understand.
Okay. Why investigation? It's a 3.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So from the papers that you are reading, once you're going through the laws, you recognize that there's some new laws about monarchy that have been made. There's a specific law about monarchy that you kind of zero in on, and it says a monarch can never be made. A monarch must be recognized. And then you also see in one of the past ones.
Real quickly, can I cast Enhance Ability and make sure I have that up before? Because he would have done so. He knows he's not great at gathering all of the information.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So we got that. Cool. And that, I believe, just gives advantage.
Yes.
Roll again.
Fox Tony is an advantage on an.
Ooh, that's an 11. Much better than a 3.
Okay, cool. So you see, a monarch can never be made. A monarch must be recognized. And then you see another rule about monarchy is like the succession will be decided by a council, and then the minor council will then vote in on that same succession. Basically giving you the information that first the High Council, which is your boss, and a few other people would then vote on who they think the monarch will be. And you notice that there is a clause that says no one is able to vote for themselves. And then you also, then going through all the names, you recognize that Volans' name is in the running for monarch for the past 100 years.
He probably knew that.
Yeah.
He's not too surprised. He'll just continue reading through stuff and jotting down notes on a notebook that he's brought out. Slowly but surely getting all the information he can.
Sounds good. So the day will then end. The next morning, Martizan, you wake up and there is a piece of paper pinned to the wall, probably Talonthros, and it has a list of names, and it's only 4 names. Well, actually, it's 5 names. There's Kocha, and you see that same name again, Paul.
Just Paul.
Timlin, Volance, and then you see a 5th name actually. It says Tercy, and you have not heard of this name before. Tercey.
I take the paper off. And I kind of like go once over. I sit down at the, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a desk with a chair. Sit down in
Mhm.
front of it for a little bit, and he just like ponders it. He's like, "Well, Sally's an unknown, but still working them. Okay, I can make do. I can make do." And he gets up, freshens up, cleans up nicely, and he heads out. Um, First order of business would be to head over to the kitchen and get some breakfast, since it is
Mhm.
early.
Yep.
And he would stop inside of the actual kitchen itself,
Mm-hmm.
because knowing him, he's probably been up at the crack of dawn anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what he always does.
You see a small dwarven woman now with haggard eyes. Has probably been up all night cooking. And she says, "Are you here for breakfast?"
He actually bows low, lower than he actually even bowed to Volans or anybody else to date. He goes, "Yes, by all means. But if you are as tired as you appear, madam, why don't you not get a little bit of rest? I could help out a little bit if that would appease you and let you rest up."
She looks at you and she says, "This is my job. I've been doing this for quite some time. I think I'll be okay."
Of course. He actually just looks around for like a piece of bread, like a piece of meat that he could just throw onto a plate. Now he doesn't really take for what she's already made, like anything she's already cooking. It's like whatever's already been pre-made.
Yeah, everything's already pre-made. Sorry, I was recording something. Um, yes, everything is already pre-made. There's eggs, there's sausage, bacon, there's all kinds of juices. There's milk for some reason. Weird, we know, but it's there.
Mm. There's a wild tree somewhere looming its branches through the window to get some of that. We know. Um, he would end up kind of like leaning on the counter, looking at her for a moment, and just take a couple of bites. I must say, you have elegant skill in the kitchen. I don't think even the cooks at home would actually compare to what you can do.
You know, I really appreciate that. Thank you for the compliment.
Oh, by all means, it's true for what it is. But while I am here for breakfast, I just thought I would get a little bit of information since I did arrive yesterday. Um, and I do know that the help are the unseen ears, and they too they do tend to hear things without meaning to, or mean to. Depends on how you look at it. I was just wondering. I heard a little rumor that there's two people that may or may not be worthy of the entire debacle that's going to be going on for the next unforeseen time. A young man named Paul and a young person named what is her name? Tracy
Percy,
Tarcy. Yes.
I didn't think Tessie was in line for the monarchy, and I've never heard of this Paul.
Hmm.
Quite an odd name, don't you think?
Well, considering where I'm from, everything is odd here. But I agree with you. It is a very odd name. But is there anything you could tell me about Tercy? Get a better understanding.
Tercy. Tercy. She's quite a character, I guess is some way we would put that.
He chuckles softly. Everybody is considered a character. It all depends on who's watching.
Yes. Um, what is it you seek?
Just information to understand what type of person they are. That is all. Nothing more, nothing less.
All right. Well, Tercy. I don't remember interacting with Tercy very much. I apologize.
No apologies needed. But I did figure that since the help do come by and not to say, but you all do talk to each other, you tend to actually glean more interactions between the council, the nobles who come through, the guards. You're the unseen ears. So I thought by chance you may have actually heard something. So I just figured I'd ask.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry I can't give you much more information than that. If you need any help on Timlin or Volans or Kocha, let me know. But Tercy and Paul, I don't know much about.
Those are the two unknowns that I had. So I will take anything else that you do have.
Do you know Volans?
Yes, I know Volans for a very long time, especially her brother.
Well, you should know that Volans has been bred for this moment.
And yet they've constantly denied her. I know that.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Maybe one day, maybe today, we'll find out.
That'd be shocking.
All right. Who's waking up next? Dante, is that you?
Feel like I'm not allowed to say no. Yeah. He'll wake up,
Sure.
get a stretch, do his morning workout in the room. Because you gotta keep the mind fit and the body fit. If they go hand in hand, just go together. Get them gains, mental gains and body gains. Anyway, so yeah, he gets up, goes about his morning routine, gets dressed, and checks over on Brissar to see if he's awake or not.
Brisar, are you awake?
How early in the morning is it?
Probably dawn.
Not quite.
Turns around, Brissar is snoring. He's like, yeah, that tracks. He's just like passed out in his bed. Just kind of chuckles to himself. And then goes to find himself some breakfast. He is not one to like to sit and wait to have somebody come to him and serve him. He's gonna go find it himself. So he's going on a search for the kitchens.
Okay, cool. Give me an investigation check.
He's gonna investigation. Okay. I almost clicked intimidation. Nope. We're not going to intimidate our way into the kitchens. Thank you.
She's gonna intimidate the walls. Tell me where to go for food.
Where to go? Look, I have a +10 to intimidation. Anyways, that was a 10 investigation.
I mean, the kitchen isn't hidden anywhere, so yeah, it's not that hard to find it. You got it.
Yeah. He goes, wanders into the kitchen, kind of peeks around, a lot like a kid where they're not supposed to be, but he's really hungry.
Okay, cool. then you peek around and you already see Maruzar there talking to the dwarven woman.
Ew. I don't want to be talking to them when you're there. You're mean. But it's fine. He'll suck it up. And he steps out. How did I know? Would you get here before me just to rough up the cook for some breakfast?
Rough up the cook. Good sir. I would never rough up the cook. That is asking to be poisoned the first time that you get a chance.
And I'm sure you have some contingencies for poisoning as well.
I have no idea what you're speaking of. And he just continues to eat. And there's this big smile on his face as he eats because he's enjoying the food.
Is this the same chef that Broussard was talking to?
Yep.
The one that does. So she had mentioned knowing him. Does he remember her?
Do you?
Want me to make a history check?
Yeah.
Let's see about that. It's an 11.
You have vague memories.
Vague memories. Do I know her name at least?
Temlin.
He's just gonna walk over, wide smile on his face. Temlin, it's been a very long time.
Indeed it has. I see you're eating enough. Seems
Well.
like just the right amount.
That's what I aim for. But I think it'll be hard to keep myself from not having a little more than usual if you're going to be the one that's cooking.
I will be cooking the entire time. Indulge.
Don't really think I have a choice now, do I?
From the background, no, you definitely do not. The food is to die for.
It's not even that. We may be leaders on a council, but everybody knows that the cook runs the show.
That is the reason why nobody, if they mess with the cook, I will probably be first in line to put them in their place.
Indeed. You see Timlin look at the clock, and it's like, oh, it's almost time. And Timlin begins to make a plate very lightly of eggs and just a couple of pieces of meat and a glass of water. And then as she sets it down on the line, Talenthros picks it up and just walks back out. It's like, he's quite the one of routine.
As he's about to walk out, a mage hand just like appears directly in his face, and it just waves. But at the same time, also goes in the bird, and then disappear, faces right out of existence, almost as quickly as it appeared.
You see Talenthros' shoulders go up in tension and then like down, like he's like breathing in and out, and then he keeps walking.
Like, enjoy the food. I'm always going to love messing around with that child.
All right. And Volance walks into the room. And she says, "Hello all. Today is the day we make lots of decisions. Are you ready?"
Well, it's the same thing I do every day, so by all means, let us go.
And with that, I would like to ask a question to the table. We can either end now and go on to next week, and we will have another person join the table with us, which would be really fun to round it out. Or we can try and finish it up tonight.
Bless you.
We usually end around this time, so that's why I'm asking.
I am always game for continuing. Even
I
hell,
think you were
even
going to add
continuing.
the ME to the end of that for some reason. There was like a brief pause between the syllables, and I was like, David, I didn't know that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, By all
Yeah, I
means.
think basically, if we went on to next week, Tercy would be played by a person as opposed to be played by me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to continue, but the rest of me wants to wait.
No, we can still continue for like another hour.
Yeah,
Throw in a
that's
little
the
bit
issue.
more.
Because I definitely want to go to sleep. But
I
That's
kind of
understandable.
It
want to.
sounds like
I kind of want to see, because Tercy's only been mentioned thus far. If we get into the actual like council stuff, he's gonna have to play Tercy, and then somebody else will have to take it over.
I know.
I kind of
Yeah.
want to go to wait till next
Yeah.
week.
yeah.
let's wait.
We shall
Okay.
wait then.
Well, then we will have a guest from the Player Hater Gaming table join us as Tercy next week. And you all should be very excited about that. So, with
We should have
that,
somebody. We should
You don't
also
have to tell
somebody
me.
join us as Paul.
with that, we will end today's session, and we will see you all next week. Thanks for showing up, all 7,537 of you.
I think you added three
okay.
numbers on the end there. I think it's just 7 for it.
And we thank all 7 of you for being here and watching this shenanigan. And I'm disappointed I didn't get to roll for persuasion.
I hope the audio and everything was good today. We were struggling last week with some stuff we were doing.
Yeah, don't worry.
For
Next
whatever
week,
reason.
they will all fuck around and find out.
Oh God.
All right, so that means I got to play around a little bit more with my wonderful little.
Your character's a dick.
Kind of,
Hey,
yeah.
hey,
He
hey.
is kind of a
Hold on,
dick.
hold on. He's a dick only right now to talent throws. No one else.
No, he's a dick to everyone.
No,
What do you?
I'm sorry. You stepped out of the fucking carriage and was like, "Yeah, you better fix this next time." I don't want to go by
Well, he
carriage.
actually doesn't like. He honestly, he hates carriages. He hates being enclosed. I was actually
Meanwhile,
legit gonna
Dante
say he
opens
was gonna,
doors for his subordinates.
like legit. I was actually gonna say like he came in on a horse. He ignored the carriage, but I got beat to it. So it's like, okay, never mind.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, y'all are still here, and hopefully, we have 1,000 more of you. So,
In 1 week, for you better get all of your contacts together.
all of them.
That's
Yeah.
1,000 right there.
It's like a third of them.
That tracks.
That
I
does
don't know
track.
how many. Phone
You
numbers
and
do
your
I have in my cell
fucking
phone?
network of people.
I currently have.
It's gonna take
Okay,
us.
you have
about
to
a
count.
half hour.
You have to
go
count
through his
the
entire contact list.
phone contacts. You have to go through Snapchat or whatever else you use, Discord. You have to use all of those and figure out how many there is. Because
I've got 500 numbers saved in my phone, but I also don't save every number. So,
excuse me.
Well,
some of these
now
people
we
haven't
know.
talked for a long time. You know, like.
You're
All right.
crazy.
We'll see you guys.
Later, everybody. Enjoy.
Bye. We'll see you
My
next
wife's
week.
here. I'm gonna go hang out with my wife. I haven't hung out with her all day.
Yeah, you should definitely do that.